Onyx has cemented themselves as one of the biggest players in the game that can no longer be contested. It appears that whatever they do, they can do no wrong. And this is yet another example of that. This is the Note Air 5C. The unit features everything you would expect out of an Onyx device. 300 ppi black and white, 100 ppi in color, octa-core processor, except they didn't want to spring for the top-notch set of internals, so you only get 6 plus 64, which is RAM plus ROM. You get USB-C, a bunch of microphones on board, but what's the biggest draw? Android 15 plus an all-new pen. But is that enough? Let's dive in. Alright, here we go guys, another one. Starting off with the build. Honestly, this looks pretty much exactly the same as every other Onyx made. It has the side ledger, it has a flush screen and bezel. On the side you have one speaker, two speaker, a bunch of microphones, and an SD card slot for expandable storage, and you have a USB-C. On the top you have additional microphones and a power button. On the right side you have volume up and down, and on the bottom you have nothing. The whole thing is built out of a block of aluminum, and you have the very nice kind of vertical and teed off horizontal trademark symbolic kind of salmon orange. We do wash our hands and alcohol our fingertips before every single shoot, and you will see in just setting up Google Play, I kid you not, there are tons of fingerprints on the back of this. No, we do not sit at our desks and eat Doritos while we set this up. This metal material they're using is a little bit different. It feels a thinner pile and it leaves tons of fingerprints. It is not textured at all either, and they have reduced the screen gap, I must say. It does look closer to the surface than previous Onyx units in the past. Onyx scared us a little bit in moving away from Wacom into active capacitive, but they do have some units like the larger ones and the more premium units that use EMR Wacom. This pen is amazing. I haven't used it yet, but from a build perspective, it's one of the best pens they've ever made. It has a completely gorgeous textured feel on the outside. It feels like a 20,000 grit sandpaper. It is so nice. You have the traditional Wacom tips, which are a dime a dozen, and that's a positive thing. That means that if you lose them or if you need more, you just buy more. And it has a lapel clip at the back with a magnetic little cylinder storage section right here. So if you start to push it down, it'll snap. That's never been done before. You do have a canister of 3 tips. That's been done before. Remarkable did that. A bunch of other manufacturers have done that. But it's really nice to see. So you would just take one out, put it in the front, and away you go. This whole thing is great. Now we have had a surprisingly 3 or 4 different people comment and say, you're going to see what's wrong with the pen when you test. So I'm kind of excited to see what exactly that is, but for now, on a look perspective, this pen is glorious. Don't get us wrong, guys, we take every review seriously, but this looks exactly the same as every other Onyx made. There seemingly is nothing new, different, or even spectacularly standoutish that this device brings to the table. They're not even using 8 plus 256, which is the latest possible RAM and storage size respectively. So I'm honestly just a little bit in awe as to the turnover for these type of units. And again, we have had some people chime in, thank you very much you guys, for helping us with some software enlightenment, and people say that there is no physical software reason why you couldn't upgrade Android on the device itself. But as we said, we've been in this industry for a long time. There is no way to update Android on an e-paper device from factory, meaning that HiRead, bigme, MeBook, Boyu, Onyx, everybody makes you buy a new unit to get an additional version of Android. So just keep that in mind, that the reason these units exist, note Air 1, 2, 3, 4, skip because to Chinese people 4 is bad, and then number 5, and the regular notes 1, 2, 3, 5, and then the regular Air is because that's how they make their money, purely on hardware. So to go from Android 13 to 14 to 15, they need to sell you an additional $500 to $700 item every single time. So just a little bit of a precursor into how this is going to be different and why this even exists. Also, previous units become unsupported very quickly. So let's look at the operating system. We have, oh, look at that. I didn't even notice that. It says eink Wise instead of the eink Center. Oh, look at that. I wonder what happened. Okay, that's news to me, and I'm kind of glad I found that just on camera here. It called it Book eink Wise. It is the same thing as the eink Center, which has all of your augmentations for the unit itself. For example, we have refresh modes, HD and speed, and we have color modes, optimal, vivid, and custom. Custom's going to have all your controls, so it's going to have every time you want to go into here, you get your vividness, your color brightness, your contrast, and it is device wide. It's not application based. You can revert everything back to normal, and you have your layout, original, universal, and custom. We'll show you all that when we get into some video comparisons. We also have a recommended set, a fast refresh set, and then a customize where you can choose exactly how you want it to look. So we're just going to leave it on whatever for now because it doesn't really matter. You have your apps in the middle here. You have everything you've sideloaded in there. If you don't like something you've sideloaded, you can click uninstall and away it goes. Yes, we will be showing you some AI as we go along. And of course, Play Store. We've been in this industry for 20 years, and I will tell you right now, it doesn't matter who makes what, when they make it, blah, blah, blah. Play Store is the best. No, they don't pay us. No, we get no monetary compensation or otherwise of any way, shape, or form. I just truly believe Google Play is the best. You might ask, well, why is that? Because not only do they have all the games, not only do they have all the apps, which includes Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Rakuten, and Amazon book systems. You can even download Sony Reader, which still exists. They have books of their own. They have tons of books, manga, ebooks, audiobooks, all within the device itself. So not only do you have every single ecosystem from every single player, including Pocketbook International, you also have Google Play Books, which gives you this is a Kindle. This is a pocketbook. It's basically anything you want to make it all your own, and you can just click on anything and download anything anytime, anywhere, and it is so useful. There are millions and millions and millions upon potentially hundreds of millions of pieces of content that you can get on a Google Play enabled device, and yes, it has Google Play right out of the gates. Because this is a color unit, the black and white looks bad, and that's not Onyx's fault, that's everybody's fault that uses Kaleido, and newsflash, everyone uses Kaleido. So you'll see that it just doesn't look that good. There's lots of staining in the background, and it's very gray, and to get our white balance card here, you'll see that it's nowhere near white. In fact, it's closer to the gray than it is the white. So how is reading? Reading's fine. You know, reading, we used to really focus on it. I mean, we're a good e-reader, but at the same point, it just, everything can read now. Everything can read. You can read on a Sony remote if you want. So the whole allure around, can my ebook reader read books? Well, the answer is yeah, you can just read books. Now you might be saying, well, what else can it do? Well, you see, that's really tough because we're using Google Play Books right now. Well, you can use anything. Moon Plus Reader, you can use Adobe, you can use Aldeco, you can use 150,000 third-party reading apps. You can read on the device itself. It's really going to come down to what app you use. In terms of Google Play Books, you do have the ability to long press, you can add notes, define, translate, all that, and you can click into it and you can go to the text augmentation and change this to your heart's content. So we can increase the font text size to, let's do plus like 400 just to really get a good sense here, whatever. And then we'll click on Sans, and then what we'll do here is go to eink Wise and go to Regal, which is going to be the nicest looking text we can possibly get. Click out and hopefully find back where the book is. All right, we just had a complete fatal crash of the device, but we reset. So when it's on Regal, it's very slow now, and it doesn't have the page turn animations as prominent as before, but it does look better. The device is willfully slow at this point, but it looks the best that you can get it on a unit like this. But that's what the speed modes are for. That's why they have them, so that you have the ability to go in and out of them as you see fit and craft your own user experience. Spoiler alert, if you watch or consume this anime/manga, we don't, so it is what it is. It's just a free sample here. So you'll see that we have color on the first page or two at times, and as you go in, it will start turning black and white. That's because manga 99.835% of the time is in black and white. So you'll see that again, this is the best looking mode, although it is ridiculously slow. That's slow for Onyx 2025. But again, they're trying to give you the best looking screen every single time, and they're doing it. In black and white, you get 300 ppi on this thing, so it's honestly doing a very good job. Now when we go to speed mode, so now things are much quicker and you can really enjoy your manga at that point. And if you needed to pinch and zoom, now it's very fast and very fluid, so you can really go into the individual cells like that, etc. They do have some things you can do to change your experience. You can do remember zoom, tap to scroll, and you do have some lighting options, and you can make it kind of sepia in the background and whatnot. But overall, the manga experience, although unnatural, because typically a manga is about, I would say, yay big. It's not very large like a old school North American graphic novel. This is supposed to be a little bit smaller, but it's not scaling anything. It's just a very, very good kind of snapped full size unit here. And yes, it's not too heavy of a unit that you can't hold it. You can hold it just fine, and if your fingers are long enough, you kind of can use it one-handed, although it's very hard because of the aluminum dusted build. It is quite slippery. It's not very grippy, so it's not really a one-handed unit. For a quick control, we're going to use an Amazon pen and just draw a couple lines to see how it is. It feels fine and it reacts perfectly fine. Now, below or on top of each one, we're going to use the Onyx pen. This one feels better and it draws just as fast. So far, I don't see any problems. Does it have an eraser? I'm going to say no, because there's no reverse EMR in the tip here, and it should have a receptor. And it doesn't have a side button unless it's a double tap, which it doesn't have. And let's just see, there is no eraser. So that might have been the problem that people are referring to, because it does have an eraser capability, as you see here. Although this one's a little bit sticky, which is kind of nice at times, but actually I can just go like that and it should all go away. So yeah, it does have an eraser functionality, except the pen doesn't support it, nor does it have, no, I don't see any side buttons, or even, no, doesn't seem to be any sort of tap function or anything to reverse the polarity. So you would have to go into the eraser every single time like that, and then you click past the alert protocol things, and then you should be able to erase it like that. So it does function. Really quick before we can continue, I'll just tell you the writing feel is decent. It's not too sticky. It's a little bit on the slippery side, but it's got good feedback when you're actually writing. Because the pen is so solid and kind of heavy, you don't feel a whole lot of reverberation. There's no real writing feel through the pen into your hand, although it's a nice noise and it's an overall really, really good fast latency. So despite people's aversion to the pen itself, I see no fault whatsoever. It's just a nice looking pen, feels good in the hand, and honestly it does its job. Looking at everything on the screen itself, you have tons of ways to change everything: line width, different types of pens, and you can customize a bunch at the top here. So you can have 5 different pens. So one pen can be that. You go over to this one, click it on it again, click a green with that. I'll go over here, click on this, make a really thick line with an orange. It's really quick. All of that is just very quick customization. On the left side, you have different templates. They have a whole bunch, and yes, you can sideload in your own. You have multiple different layers, a total of 6 layers, I think, because it's 5, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 plus templates. That's great. You have different shapes. This is the thing I always focus on. Onyx is the best at shapes, and I'll tell you exactly why. If you ever wanted to make a cone in a dotted, inconsistent line with a red color, middle to mid-high thickness, that would take so long for you to get some straight edges. Here, look at this, look at this. Look, I'm gonna make it right now. I'm gonna go like this, dot, 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 and then you go over here with another straight edge, dot, 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 and then you get some sort of circular unit like this, and you go around it, and you're like, it would take so long. And these guys have everything for you under the sun in every single color, cubes, different types of dots. You can do drafting. This helps so much when you need to do blueprints. I cannot understate how well it is such a useful tool to people that buy this type of unit, that want that level of note-taking integration. It's so good. Furthermore, this is something they borrowed from ereader out of China. If you want to make your own shapes, you can draw a circle and hold it, and it's going to make it into a circle, which is great. I can do a triangle and hold it, and it'll turn into a triangle. I can do a star. I think I can do a star. I actually don't know. I can do a star, and it turns. Oh, it actually turned into a star. It didn't even make the thing that I did cleaner. It just turned it into a star. And look, rotate round and round till the cows come home. That is great. I didn't even know it did that, actually. I knew that when you do stars and stuff, sometimes they clean it up, but that one actually just made it some sort of clip art they pulled from the OS. Very smart. I like it. You can even go to share. This is the third best thing about this unit, honestly. Say you get a document and you say, well, you know what? I don't want to print this out and scan it and sign it. And here's the document, and they say, here, Jonathan, sign here. So you do your little signature. All you have to do is click share, click the signature panel, click on share, and then you choose what you want it to be. Do you want it to be a PNG? Do you want it to be a PDF? Whatever. You can share it via QR, export it to the device storage, or just straight up click share. And what it's going to do is going to go through your whole thing. You can even print it if you want, or you can send it via Facebook Messenger, via WhatsApp, via email, via Gmail, whatever you want, directly on the device. I really like that level of just pure freedom. They don't make you go through some sort of only one thing, like, oh, all we have is Dropbox integration, all we have is Pocket integration, etc. They leave it up to you to install any messaging apps and any sort of email apps you want, any client you want, and just send it off. That is a great system. Also, if you write your name and then go over to the lasso, you can circle it and you can now recognize it directly from AI. And there you go. You don't have to do the full screen and choose your page and do all that stuff. It just does it straight up for you. From there, you have a bunch of different things. You can change your font, you can change your spacing, you can change your color, you can change your bold and italicize. There's so much. Honestly, there's just endlessly amount of features. But I must tell you guys, these features are not exclusive to this unit, which is why behind the scenes here, positively, we're all talking about it and just saying, well, you know, what does this really do new? And the answer is, it doesn't really do anything new. There are certain things it does, like it has an SD, and not all models have SD. It has some volume control buttons on the side, which can be very helpful for adding new pages and utilizing volume controls as page turners in certain applications. But again, it's not really doing anything groundbreaking. All of this is on the last couple models, and if you have an older model, typically if you have the number 3 and you have the 5, or if you even have the 2 or the 1, the updates go back into a lot of these depending on which model you have. So even if you have an older model, you might get the exact same updated experience. Good opportunity to look at the keyboard here. The keyboard's fine. You get the usual Google keyboard, and you get all the other stuff. So if I wanted to do voice dictation, I can do that. If I want to do handwriting dictation and I want to write a P, it's going to throw a P on there. There it is right there. I can then go and choose my different types of keyboards, and you can go to the Android menu and just look at all the keyboards they have to offer. There's just sometimes, you know, there's just a little bit too many features, but it's nice to have it and you don't need to use it. If you say, well, I don't want this confusing keyboard thing, well, you know, here's a good idea, just don't touch it and you'll be fine. But for the people that are more technically minded, they might want all those features like this. If I minus this and I want to do voice dictation, tell me a story about a mouse. And there you go. I just finished my homework. That's a joke. Do not use this to finish your homework. I'm just going to do a little bit of a PSA for you guys. The important thing about doing homework is the doing of the homework. Seriously, it's not about getting the right answer. It's about how you get the answer. Seriously, even if you write a story about a mouse, and your story is not a good story, it's still giving you training as to how you got to there. So just saying. So here's a story about a little mouse named Milo, and I just asked AI Assistant to do it for me because they do have the AI Assistant on here. You can create new topics and go to the settings and log into your Books account. There's a whole bunch of stuff that this has that is AI centric. And as you saw in the note-taking experience, there are many ways that AI can help you with your daily tasks. Aside from that, before we get into the videos, you might be asking, what else can this do? Well, again, a lot of people look at this and they get spooked and they say, oh no, this is just going to be an e-reader. No, this is a full Android tablet with Google Play, a full Android tablet. If there's anything you want, you download it. You go home, you have your dictionary, you have your tools. Look at all the tools they give you right out of the gates. Look at that. And if you want anything else, you just add some more. Download some more. Download some schedulers. Make this a Netflix tabletop device. Make this just a straight up calendar. Go to the help center. Listen to your podcast. There's really nothing this can't do. You want to go explore your storage, which unfortunately you only get 45 gigs out of 64 gigs, but you get that SD card, so that's fine. Hey, there's an image on here. I didn't put any images on here. Oh, it saves it as, oh, right, that was my export. La 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 la. Okay, I got it. Back to action. I didn't know it put it there, that I didn't cancel the export. If you want to install Google Chrome on here and go to the web browser, you can totally do that. You can watch videos, which we'll show you in a second. There's nothing it can't do because it has the ability to act as a normal tablet. Again, if you do want something a little bit faster, well, get a regular tablet. But if you want something easy on the eyes that at any angle you can see the exact same thing, as you've seen recently with our RLCD coverage, that's quite a concern for some people. You will be able to get that on an e-paper screen, and you get all the benefits of your music, your Amazon Music, your Spotify, all of your multimedia, your social media, anything you want can be done directly on this unit. So don't be scared that it has an e-ink screen. Embrace it. There's no way in this world that we can say that this is a bad device, not even a little bit. It's just not doing anything new, which may or may not be a negative. It's familiar, it's a parallel move. They don't throw anything too difficult at you, so it's an easy transition if you're looking to upgrade your old unit. And also, that being the only way to get a higher version of Android. Outside of that, this unit does pretty much nothing new to any stretch of the word. It's just the same old thing, but released again for you to consume with a higher version of Android. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comments, and thanks for watching.